Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. We are proud to offer this series with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and the United Way of Tarrant County. Some of these programs are recorded and some are made available for viewing through a YouTube channel for future use. I am Martha Brown, your host for today's activities. Today we are presenting, drum roll, Peggy Spear. Where did it go? Artful Moments. And this is it flummoxes me. It's hot dogs and hamburgers through art. Peggy, I can't wait to see what you have for us. Please take it away.
Right. Well, I hope all of you had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. And maybe some of you already had hot dogs and hamburgers. My best friend and I, since high school, we always joke that it's the first dog of the season, and we always send each other pictures of hot dogs. We are big hot dog fans. It was always my birthday meal growing up. I always wanted hot dogs for my birthday. So I thought, let's see what we've got in our collection. And sure enough, we have enough to make it a topic for today, hot dogs and hamburgers.
All right.
I know, I was surprised. I thought this might be a reach. So we've got color, we've got good food. So let's start here with this artwork. It's a screen print. So we've seen screen prints in the past. It's a work on paper where they're dragging a squeegee across down a screen that has different inks on it. What do we see?
Looks like a hot dog cart.
Yeah, a vendor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. They've got the lemonade, pretty bold.
Yeah, it is.
And then they have the red hot Franks.
He's a one-trick pony. He sells two things: lemonade and red hot Franks. And a better combo can you even think of than lemonade and a hot dog?
That's right.
So yeah, Paulette hit it right on the head. He's selling these two things. Where does it look like he's selling these items?
On the street.
On a street. What makes you say that?
The outside of the buildings.
Yes, the buildings. We see tall buildings.
It doesn't look like the inside of a restaurant.
Or like a beach or anything.
No. Right.
Ooh. Yeah, and you can see the curve of the curb.
Yep.
So what kind of feeling, because things are kind of tilted and at an angle and we've got movement, what kind of feeling does this give you?
Well, he seems about to be getting ready to push his cart uphill the way he's pushed over.
You think so? Yeah, he's on the move for sure.
He looks worn out to me.
He does, yeah. What body language is telling you that?
The humpback.
Yeah, the humpback, the head down.
Yes, he's not looking ahead.
No, he's not.
Well, he's concentrating.
He could be really focused in what he's doing. I think it's probably a combination of the two. This particular artist was really interested in labor and union rights. And so that I am aware of, there was not a union of street cart vendors. But I could be totally wrong. That's not an area I'm well versed in. But I mean, he is acknowledging the work of the vendor. I mean, it's physical labor. He's pushing a cart. He's out on the streets in, you guessed it, New York City. So it's probably hot. So he's putting in hard work, and he was very sympathetic to those workers. Look at the year that it was made.
Yeah, 1938.
What was going on then?
Well, it was coming up to the end of the Depression. Depression was still going on.
We were still in the Depression. And so this would have been an everyday sight, maybe a little less regular in the thick of the Depression, but something that you would have seen in New York City, street vendors, selling food, nuts, whatever. He was commissioned by the WPA, which was a government-funded organization that was allowing artists to create art that reflected the country at the time and allowed creative outlet for people who probably weren't working as much as they would have because art was considered a commodity. It wasn't considered a necessity. So the government was funding these artists. This was an artwork and an artist that was funded by the WPA.
Oh,
And do
And
you
so-
know what the WPA stands for?
I do. Do you guys know? Martha, do you want to tell everyone?
Works Progress Administration.
yep.
Correct.
I
And
had
so-
an uncle who worked for the WPA building concrete structures.
Oh, very cool. Okay. Yeah,
He
there
was
were a
down there.
number of divisions within the WPA. There was the Federal Art Project,
Mhm.
which was one. There was some that were geared towards the theatrical arts. It sounded like your uncle might have been involved with architecture and building within, the city infrastructure. So there was a way to beautify the United States when it was not feeling too beautiful at that time.
Mhm.
The high
And
school
so-
graduated from the auditorium was built by the WPA.
In
Say
what-
What was that again, Steve?
The high school I graduated from,
Ah,
auditorium was built by the WPA.
Oh,
How
very
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well, that-
another big WPA thing that still exists or is often around still is in post offices. You might see murals that are painted. That was a big WPA because it was a government building that was frequently traveled by people. So it was a lot of eyes seeing something on a government building. So I know in Colorado when I lived there were a number of post offices that still had their murals up. So it was all over the country, these types of things were happening. This was not as grand as Steve's school or, post office building, but these paintings or these artworks were made. And here you can see, we talk about the tilted buildings. It's giving that lively feeling of a city, which is maybe not totally realistic of New York is always lively, but the growing and the shifting and the changing of the city is what he was trying to get at here. So and the colors seem hopeful. So this could have been, in 1938 that there might have been a light. People are feeling like there was a light at the end of what was a very long tunnel. So this was a happy artwork in kind of a sad history.
Sadly, the end of the Depression was the beginning of World War II.
Mhm.
Yeah. The red above his head and the bottom underneath it almost looks like a eaten apple. So it'd be like New York, the Big Apple.
Yeah,
Oh, see, I thought they were
That's-
umbrellas.
Good
I think
symbolism.
I think they are umbrellas, but Steve's interpretation is not wrong.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Hi, Etta.
So one thing you never know about street vendors, particularly these push cart guys, is how far they had to push that cart from wherever their home was or they stored it
Yeah.
to their desired location to sell hot dogs.
Oh, right.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
Question.
You know,
Yeah.
it could be miles that they pushed that cart
Yeah.
before they even got to work.
Yeah.
Today, they're very regulated.
Yes, they are.
Oh,
They
yeah.
hold specific locations they can be in.
Yeah. This was before there were turf wars. Let's put it that way.
So,
Uh,
hey, I got one more question about the painting. What's the thing that's hanging off the handlebar? Is that his lemonade?
I'm not sure what that was. I don't know if it was like a trash can or if it were something that's just kind of like his purse or book bag,
Okay, okay.
backpack or something. I'm not
Yeah.
really sure what that was.
Okay.
Could be
just
his
curious.
bag he's putting the hot dogs in.
Say that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Oh.
We can't see the.
All right, so we're gonna go. Hold on, we're leaving New York and we're going to
Mm.
Marilyn Monroe at the drive-in.
Ooh. She can make anything sexy, can't she?
I mean, the girl has got some glamour. And that was the whole point of this photograph, Martha. This was This particular photographer was known, you know his work without knowing it's him. He was the portrait photographer to the stars, essentially. And he took the picture of Albert Einstein, where he's spitting his tongue out the picture.
Oh,
Yeah.
This is that photographer. And
Wow.
so, and he took a couple other pictures of Albert Einstein, and they've appeared on stamps and things like that. So this photographer was rubbing elbows with all of the, you know, the high celebrities of the day. And so this picture of Marilyn Monroe was, you know, drive-ins in the 50s were new, were cool. It was something you saw or did as a family, and, you know, they were all over your community. And so something that was every day, he elevated it by having the glamorous Marilyn Monroe take a picture of her enjoying her burger at the drive-in.
I always, the only pictures I've ever seen her is she's blonde.
Yeah,
Blonde.
exactly. Yeah. The dark hair is kind of,
She does look a little darker there. It could also be kind of the shadow. She does
Oh,
seem
could be, yeah.
kind of retreated into the car, so it might be some of the lighting too.
mhm.
And she's eating a hamburger, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Yeah.
There are still a few drive-ins that do the same, that have the trays and things like that. They're very few, but there are still a few of them. There was one in North Carolina where we lived. It was originally a Sonic, and then it was bought out, but they still used the trays, and you know, had the little squawk boxes
Oh, uh-huh.
that you ordered from. And
Did you guys go to drive-ins as a family growing up, or on dates growing up? Was that something that was?
I guess older when I was in high school, things like that. We did a
Yeah.
couple times with my mother, you know. Can't remember the name of the place. It was a chicken place. I can't remember. The Barrel.
Huh.
It was designed to look like a big, huge wooden barrel. Okay,
Where did you grow up?
in Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Grand Fork, North Dakota?
Yep. Hmm.
Never been there.
Well. a lot of
Next time you
people have-
go, then Paulette, you got to stop at the Barrel and see if they can hook you up with a hamburger.
Hey,
Lord.
Hey,
So
Steve,
what brought you to Texas?
Oh, long time. This is our third trip to Texas.
It is.
Steve,
yeah.
since that was a barrel, could it have been the A&W root beer stand?
No, it wasn't the A&W. They had served root beer, but it wasn't A&W. Okay. It was just a local restaurant they'd made look like a barrel. And because we had A&Ws in our community. Actually, at one point in time, one of the largest A&Ws in America in Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Really?
And
Oh,
you know, rose gardens and everything else, you know, just huge, beautiful.
I was born and raised in Lubbock, Texas. Has anybody been to Lubbock?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. Okay. Well, you know what Lubbock is all about? We had really severe sandstorms a lot because of the cotton fields that surround Lubbock. And so that was not a good thing to have with sandstorms.
Did you have a drive-in that you went to after school?
There was a drive-in, but I wasn't driving, so I didn't go to them that often.
Mhm.
I
Do you
Myron,
have
I-
any dates that
didn't have
drove?
a lot of freedom, actually, to tell you the truth.
Mhm.
So you
Well,
didn't have
Myron,
any dates to take you there?
Any dates?
Yeah, boyfriends?
Well, I'm sure I could have or would have, but I don't recall dating that much either. My mother and daddy were pretty strict with me.
Well, tell the truth. You got married at 19, right out of high school, right? So you must have had a date or two before that.
Well, yeah, I did.
You did that to escape your mom and dad. But you know, Miss Peggy's got 30 minutes and she wants to show us some more art. So why don't we let her talk about this and we'll move on?
All right, let's. do
Okay,
it.
good.
Dawn, I think you might have had a thought about this photograph. Did you think anything?
The only thing that I was going to comment on is that there's actually a number of drive-ins theaters in the Metroplex. I just looked them up, and
You
some
looked
of them are just open on certain days, but there are drive-in theaters still around.
Do they still deliver, like, would they still order, can you still order food like this, or is it kind of like pack in your own?
As far as I know, they still had the at least one that I know of still has the little speaker thing that you could just bring your food out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
cool. Well, if you are really just loving this picture of Marilyn, it's a poster you can find anywhere on the internet. I mean, you can
Yes.
in your purse and hit 12 of them. So anything with Marilyn Monroe always does well on the internet.
I just posted a picture of us on Facebook looking at this.
Oh, and Marilyn lives on in another way now.
That's right.
All right, so now this is, I thought, such a fun photograph
That's cool.
called Hot Dog.
Yep.
What do you see?
A still hot dog stand.
And a wooden barrel.
And a wooden
I know,
box.
Myra, you're right, a wooden barrel. Just Steve, there's your barrel.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
A hot dog stand that looks like a hot dog in a bun.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
Okay, so you can see, you might be able to read it. It says Talo the pup. Has anyone heard of this hot dog stand before?
No.
hi.
No.
Okay.
Not.
So it's in LA. It
Have you
opened in
ever heard of
19
that Tale of the Pup? Have you ever heard of that name, Philip? I thought he would have since he grew up in Chicago.
Well, you know what? I thought it was Chicago too. It's in Los Angeles. So we were all mistaken if you thought Chicago. But it opened up in 1946 and it was a staple in LA until 2005. And then they closed it and put the hot dog in storage. And just this year, they pulled this dog back out and it's selling hot dogs again.
Oh,
So,
that's great.
Wow.
yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah. So it's really, you can
It's making
Google
a comeback.
it. Yeah, it's not dead, baby. It's back. And so,
Where did you say that was, Peggy?
it opened in 1946.
But where?
Oh, in Los Angeles.
Oh, Los Angeles.
And
Okay.
on the- I don't know if it was here then, but I know now with the reboot, it's on. Yep, there you go. Martha has it pulled up to her
In
camera.
color from the end with a dog sticking out of the bun.
Yep.
Yep.
And I think now with the revisioned opening of it, there's like more areas to sit and kind of like a beer garden area. So you can really make it like an outing, and you can get like stickers and t-shirts and enamel pins. And so really commemorate your trip to the hot dog stand.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was located exactly here, but and the reopening was Santa Monica Boulevard. So you've heard of Santa Monica.
Oh, yeah.
Boulevard.
Mhm.
So it's in pretty high traffic, area of
Yeah.
LA.
That's awful expensive real estate to put a hot dog stand in.
But I think because it was such a LA staple and legend, things like that have a way of finding their footing again.
You're right. You're right.
In the high, and in the right places. But this particular photographer was California. He was LA based, and he did a lot of social documentary photographs and depiction of urban realism. And so this just, I feel like it's just such a nostalgic picture because you really don't see anything like this anymore. But
No.
you can imagine how fun it would be in the day.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have hot dog stands like this near the beach or wherever, in your community growing up?
But when we went to Myrtle Beach, you could go anywhere along the beach somewhere and find a hot dog or beer.
Yeah, or beer.
So
What's interesting to me about this picture is the people. He's dressed in a jacket. The ladies have long coats on,
Yep.
sort of
Yeah,
not formal wear, but dressy wear to go up to
That's
a
right.
hot dog stand.
exactly.
But Philip, I think you every time you left your house, you dressed up at that time.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We used to wear little white gloves to go walking around the square when I was a teenager.
Mhm. No, you didn't put on your Lululemon pants and your tie-dye t-shirt?
That was the year before,
Oh, okay. Yeah, that wasn't in fashion the next year. You're right. You're right.
late 50s, I should have said,
Right,
late
right.
50s. Yeah.
Now, and,
But-
and you can, in other pictures, of this stand, sometimes there were stools in front of here, so people could park it at parking it at a hot dog stand, that is commitment to a hot dog. But there were, sometimes there were little tables. You can see over the years, there are tables in front of there. So yeah, there was no discrimination in class or whatever when it comes to a hot dog, because whether you're highfalutin or, blue collar, if you want a hot dog, you want a hot dog.
Exactly.
That's like
Denmark still has a lot of stands of
Oh,
hot dog.
really? Good.
Where
Yeah, hot
does
dogs.
Yoda?
Denmark still has a lot of hot dog stands around.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
In Park, okay.
Are they hot dogs or sausages?
Hot dogs.
Okay.
keep you warm after
Well,
you've
you can
gotten out.
also buy sausages, but they still have them, and they're all over the place. Very famous.
They'll
Cool.
keep you warm after you've been in the 40-degree ocean.
Yes, that's right.
Peggy, the thing I noticed about this picture was that the lady's coat is the right length for the early 50s, and this says 49.
Yeah.
So that was the definitely right era for the length of the coat.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And this particular artist, while this is past the WPA stuff, he was a WPA photographer as well, and was photographing the city for set production. So he was WPA for the theater portion of that, where he was taking pictures of skylines and cityscapes to then have it be turned into the backdrop for theatrical production. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we're leaving the West Coast now, and we're jumping to the East Coast to Coney Island.
Right, Coney
for the
Island.
dogs.
Coney Island.
Yeah.
So this is another, I feel like, I know it's black and white. Again, we've got a lot of black and white, but I feel like these pictures are just so nostalgic and relatable. So what do we see happening here?
Somebody just had a bite of his hot dog.
No, he was caught mid-bite.
Yeah.
And she looks like she's either getting ready for a bite or is just chowing down.
Yeah.
This sweet little boy with a hat that says Coney Island, like a little tchotchke his mom must have gotten him on their day on the island.
I like his sailor hat.
Yeah, it's that little, it's like a little tchotchke, because you can see, or you can kind of see it says island and then EY.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
have any of you ever been to Coney Island?
No.
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 So it's in Brooklyn. This particular photographer was working out of Brooklyn. He's really known. He's a filmmaker. His most notable film is Little Fugitive.
Hmm.
But he grew up in Brooklyn, so he grew up in going to Coney Island, and he did like a whole series of all of the photographs taken are just called Coney Island, New York. And so it's just, people on the beach, people on the rides, people on dates, just a number of very summary, because it's only open. It opened this Memorial Day through Labor Day. So it's the bulk of the things that you can do are open during the summer. And so he just captured all of the different types of people and interactions going on Coney Island. Does anyone know what makes a Coney dog a Coney dog?
I do
No.
not.
No.
Okay, so it's the hot dog, meat sauce, not to be confused with chili. It is different than chili. Yellow mustard and onions. That's what makes it a Coney dog.
Oh,
Coney dog.
I learned something today.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
So treat yourself to a Coney dog if you see one.
So it's still,
No.
it's
Say that
still
again?
messy. Still messy to eat.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it looks like these these people aren't eating a true Coney dog because that,
They
I
should-
feel like that would be where you need a stool, like at the last one where they're all, parked at
They
the,
look too clean.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he
Yeah.
has two.
yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't see a napkin anywhere.
Uh-uh.
Mm-mm.
That's a shock, isn't it?
Yes.
All this hot dog talk, guys. All right, we got one more. We'll end with a burger. And of course, you can't talk about anything without Elliot Porter being involved. So here's our Elliot Porter for the day.
I
Oh,
can
that's-
tell by the color.
Yeah, I didn't even have to tell you. I bet you're right. You guys are all Elliot Porter pros now. I didn't even need to tell you. But we've seen a couple of his pictures in the past of these photographs he took in New York City. And they're some of the only pictures in almost all of his work that include people in the photographs. So, while they're not really the focus of the artwork, there's still a presence of people, which so often he's just focusing on nature.
Nature.
And
Mhm.
yeah, and people's removal from nature, essentially. So, I mean, if you can't remove people from the city, if you're in the city, there are people. But here they are walking away from Bun and Burger.
Burger.
Other
Yeah.
burgers, yeah.
And so the original one opened in the 1960s in Manhattan, and there are up to about 14 locations at one point. And so the menu's really cute. Again, like you can see this right here is like a little chef. He's got a mustache with a chef's hat on, and I think he's
wow.
winking, but that's the little logo for the Bun and Burger. And you can see it's lit up, and it would just be probably a quick in and out, not so much the vendor style, but
Yeah, but it's on the street. You go to it and get your hot dog and you leave.
yeah, in and out. Especially because we're near, it looks like we're near a bank. We've got other, this looks like some sort of truck that might be loading things in and out. So you're probably in an office type neighborhood where people might be dipping in quickly for a lunch and wanting to get going.
In a business district.
Yeah. And they were all over. There were 12 locations in Manhattan, and then the Brooklyn Mall or something had one, and the Staten Island Mall had one. So they were kind of all over the place. Not your McDonald's, but something, kind of like your Shake Shack where you see that everywhere in New York today. So those are our hamburgers and hot dogs. I hope
Good.
you guys eat a hamburger and hot dog soon, because
We had one on Memorial Day, right, Mike?
you did.
Oh,
you
yeah.
did
Yetta
you
has
really?
another one.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
A typical
Adorable.
Danish hot dog stand.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
Okay.
thank
I
you.
see
so
it.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so good. I even have a picture of one. I think if I can find it.
Yetta, what kind of toppings do you put on, and do people put on their dogs?
You put mustard and ketchup, and then you put, we call it remoulade. It's like a yellow sauce with little pickle pieces in it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And then cucumber salad, and then fried onions or raw onions.
Oh,
Okay.
yum.
Yeah.
my
You would
goodness.
need a napkin.
That would be
Yeah.
an
You would need a
dog.
napkin, and then more often than not, the sausage is red. They have sort of colored it, so.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh my
Thank you,
goodness, that
Yetta.
sounds
You're
delightful.
welcome.
Yes.
Yum. All right, well, next week we're back, and we're talking dogs, but not hot dogs. We're going
Oh.
animals, not food next week. It's next week we have a big dog event at the museum's Dog Days of Summer, where we have a big event outside on the patio where people can bring their dogs, and we have portrait artists and things like that for your puppies. So I thought we can talk about puppies on here as well. So
That sounds
always
good.
a pleasure talking with you, friends, and I will see you next week, okay?
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you, Miss
Peggy.
thank you,
Peggy.
Peggy.
Okay,
Good.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Peggy. Ah,
I'm starving.
sweet.
I'm starving.
Uh-oh. Do we need to give you a break before we go to Fifth Street so you can get
No.
a snack?
Oh, yes.
Well, coming up, there was Artful Moments. 11:30, where in the world is Heather? I don't know where she's taking us, but you know it's always a trip somewhere. And at 1:30, Nia moving to Deal.